Alright, so yesterday I pulled 7-star War Machine, right? And I was like pretty conflicted on the pool, but y'all told me to try him out, so of course I was gonna try him out, right? And yeah, I'm happy I did because this dude is an absolute beast of a champion, man. His damage output is so good. His utility is pretty nice as well. And like for being an older character who like newly got buffed, he feels pretty dang solid to me. So yeah, I really like this buff. I feel like it's a pretty like solid work overall. Right there, look at that, man. We blocked a Bishop SP2 and we took like zero damage, like literally zero damage. We did like that did nothing to us, and that's insane, man. That's a Bishop SP2, a rank 4 Bishop, by the way, and yeah, he is just doing nothing to us on the block, which is pretty dang solid. That's because of the energy resistance pre-fight and also his insane armor rating, so yeah, just leads to some very solid numbers. There's like a whole combo, barely even scraped this, man. He is just that tanky, it's so awesome. So, like, in general, this guy's such a good beginner-friendly character because he's just so tanky, man. You will take, like, no damage with this guy. Additionally, he has access to a massive regen when he's awakened. So, yeah, like, for a 6-star champion, very, very, like, new player-friendly. For a 7-star, still pretty dang solid, man. So, yeah, now we have this kitty Pryde. He can remove prowess on the SP1, but I chose not to do that because of masochism over time. I thought, you know what, let's just go for the big damage on the SP2. And, yeah, it turns out just fine, man. We get the fight down in a pretty good amount of time. But yeah, War Machine is a very solid mutant, like, Slayer because he does a lot of prowess removal on the SP1. I think it's like 5 prowesses, which is pretty dang good, right? And additionally, he just has like a massive bonus to the class advantage. So yeah, it's just a very fun time. And he is just, you know, I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan of War Machine after, like, you know, testing him out for a little bit. I'm a big fan of this character. I cannot wait to do a full synergy video. This video is no synergy throughout, so yeah, just keep that in mind. This is just him by himself. And yeah, that's about like 40-something seconds, which is still pretty dang good. And now we have this Apocalypse, a pretty beefy Apocalypse, right? You know, Apocalypse, he has a massive health pool always. So here I kind of messed up. I went for the energy res pre-fight and the, like, attack pre-fight. I didn't go for the cleanse one because I thought that he wouldn't be able to like cleanse like the debuffs anyway because of Apoc's ability, but it turns out his cleanse doesn't count towards Apoc's ability. So you can just, you know, put on the pre-fight and you'll be like good to go with the Recall Masteries, which is pretty dang solid. But here I kind of messed up and I didn't do that, so now I have to deal with like the concussion, and yeah, the concussion is not fun at all. But yeah, here we're stuck with the armor break, thankfully. So yeah, this would be a very fast fight from here because we got the concussion on, and he just can't do anything to us, to be honest. And yeah, the tankiness is just insane, man. He is just taking those blocked hits like it's nothing. He is like so dang tanky, man. It's just awesome. It's so awesome. So yeah, that was a pretty fast fight as well. And now we have this Havok, you know, War Machine, a standard Havok counter. He just has the armor up and he has physical damage. So yeah, honestly, most Havok counters are like energy damage dealers, which is kind of annoying, right? Because he has energy resistance. But War Machine, no, he is just pure physical damage, which is pretty dang good. Like Warlock, I think is the best Havok counter because he's all physical damage as well. And same thing with War Machine, he's just all physical damage. Like there is some Omega Sentinel champs like that who are energy damage, right? So like it kind of doesn't make sense because, like, why be energy damage and counter Havok when he has, like, massive energy resistance? So, yeah, I don't know, man. But War Machine doesn't worry about that because he just has regular physical damage, which is pretty dang solid. And, yeah, he just gets through fights so fast, man, because of his armor break. His armor break is massive. I think it's, like, a 4,000 armor break, which is pretty dang good. And it stacks up to 2 times. And not only that, if you throw the SP3, you get up to 3 Furies based on the armor break. So yeah, it just leads to a ton of damage, man. And that was a pretty solid time there as well. And now we have Eternity Pain. This is the Bishop fight. And this one just goes so well, man. War Machine is such a good Bishop counter because you just take like 0 damage on the blocked hits with the SP2. If you push an SP1, that's where the Fortify, is it the Fortify one? The energy resistance one, that's when that comes into play because you get energy resistance based on your armor rating, and War Machine has like a 5,000 armor rating armor up. So yeah, it's just a pretty fun time. And I didn't go for the cleanse pre-fight here because Bishop has an ability where, like, whenever the opponent cleanses or purifies, you take a bunch of damage. So yeah, I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to risk it. I'm not going to take that damage to start the fight. So the plan here is to play around Hurt Locker and Meltdown. So just go for SP2 and then alternate the SP1 because it takes her a while to like get to SP3 with this like energy node. So yeah, like I had to not use SP3 at all, which is fine. You're right, his damage output is still fine without the SP3. So you can just do SP1s, get some ruptures up and get some suppressions up, which is pretty dang solid. And yeah, his rupture damage, It's not too great by itself, but with synergies, it's pretty dang good. I think it does like 345 per. I mean, I guess that is decent since there's like 5 of them, right? And it's like per tick. So yeah, it's for like 3,000 damage a second, which isn't too bad for sure. But like compared to like his physical damage, I mean, I guess Rupture is physical, but like compared to like his, yellow numbers, it's quite a massive difference, right? So yeah, now I can just drop the SP2 here, or he drops his, and yeah, it just does nothing to us because, War Machine is that tanky. And, like, honestly, if you know me well, you know that I love tanky champions. Like, extra large characters, they usually have, like, massive health pools, so I usually, like, tend to go towards them. And War Machine, while he's not, like, an extra large health pool, he still just has a ton of tankiness, which is pretty dang solid. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that, man. This is why I like the character so much, because he's just so tanky and he's so safe to play. If he was Awakened, even more tanky, man, because of the regeneration at the end of the fight, which is still, like, super dang good. And yeah, here you just drop SP1 for the Meltdown node, and yeah, now the fight is just under control, and I think it's, like, pretty much over from here. 19,000 mediums, which is pretty dang good, and yeah, this fight was so clean, man. It was such a clean fight. War Machine is just amazing for it. And yeah, that concludes this fight, which is, I think it's about like 2 minutes long, which isn't too bad at all. For a Eternity Pain health pool, yeah, not bad in the slightest. And now we have some Act 8 lanes. This is Act 8 Infectious Wrath. This one is pretty fun for War Machine because, well, he doesn't have heal block, he has armor break, right? And in this node, if you armor break the opponent, you also heal block them. So yeah, I like how they like gave that a second line there. It's like where armor break also works for it because, he's an armor break champion. And I feel like Tech class kind of has a lot of armor break characters. It has War Machine, it has Rocket Raccoon, it has Warlock, Hulkbuster. I'm trying to think who else. There's probably a couple more, but regardless, we're still in this fight, right? We got to talk about this. Yeah, so we dropped SV2. He's now heal blocked. He tried to regen there, but he couldn't, so they gave us Fury passives. And yeah, now the fight's just in our control, and it's pretty much over from here because they're doing so much damage. There, got Imperious Rex, and he set the SP3 for a very long time, which is a bit concerning, to be honest. But yeah, doesn't matter. We drop another SP2, get a nice crit there, 81,000, I think that was. And yeah, the fight is just over from here. And I tried to go for a crit there on the heavy tag, but we didn't get it, unfortunately, but it's fine. Still a very solid time overall. Now we have a Guardian on the same lane, and this fight just goes pretty smooth. You can see there, I had 2 5-star characters, just like alongside War Machine on the team. And I just want to say that isn't synergies. Like, they don't synergize with War Machine at all. Like, they have 0 relationship with War Machine, right? This is just because his pre-fights work like this. You get charges back after you win a fight, and you get an additional charge per hero champion on the team. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you have like a hero champion or 2 on the team so you can just like consistently gain back his pre-fights. And once you do that, then you're absolutely chilling, man. So yeah, does he need synergies? Not at all, because these aren't synergies. They're just other team members. It's like Captain America Infinity War, right? He doesn't need synergies, he just needs team members. But even in like content where you can't like bring multiple team members, there's only like 1 fight there usually, and like War Machine, he can still put on his 2 pre-fights. So yeah, it's nothing to worry about. He doesn't need synergies. He doesn't really need like the hero members either, only if you're like doing a long quest with him. But yeah, here we just dropped another SP2, and yeah, the fight's just over from here. I think we get a heavy attack in, or no, we don't. Yeah, we do. I always love finishing with heavy attack, so let's see. Does it crit? It does not crit, and that's a bit unfortunate, man. But you know what? It is what it is. And now here are some just like one-off fights. We have this Cyclops here. I think it's on the dress code lane. So basically he'll go unblockable if we don't have an armor up. And also has power ignition. So like every time we parry, we power drain him. So yeah, this also has special burst lockdown, I think it's called. So whenever the opponent throws a special attack, we get armor broken. And a little fun fact about War Machine's armor up, and this is kind of like a con to the character. When it goes away, it doesn't come back. Like, just, it doesn't come back at all. Most tech characters, honestly, I think all of them, their armor ups, when they go away, it comes back in, like, a decent amount of time, right? Not War Machine. His just doesn't come back. And I guess, like, I don't know why. Maybe because it's, like, too strong at base. So, yeah, they're like, you know what? It just doesn't come back. We're just going to nerf it. It doesn't come back. And yeah, once it goes away, it's gone forever. So, yeah, against armor break matchups, he's not going to be too ideal because, like, once it's gone, it's just gone forever. But you can also, like, try to maintain it by, like, playing around armor break and things like that. But yeah, here I can just, keep power draining him, keep, like, being really passive, not letting him throw the SP1, because when he throws SP1, he armor breaks us. So yeah, we just cannot let that happen, right? And we don't let it happen for the most part. It does happen at the end of the fight, but, like, that's the end of the fight. It doesn't really matter there. Yeah, here he throws it, and I'm like, oh, Oh man, I forgot that like his armor up doesn't come back. So yeah, I was a bit worried here, but the fight's almost done anyway, so it's fine. And yeah, just a pretty annoying interaction with War Machine. They were getting a massive crit though, which is pretty dang cool. And yeah, it's just a pretty clean fight overall, besides that one little slip up. Now this is the Chitino's Thorns lane. I think I said that right. So basically, they have a chance to bleed us whenever we hit them, and they have an armor up. Additionally, every time the opponent finishes a special attack, they get an armor up. And also, our own armor ups give us bleed immunity. So yeah, just a pretty fun time because we can just, not take any damage from that. And also, whenever we trigger the immunity, we get Fury passive. So yeah, it just leads to a very fun time. And yeah, this also has the Be Like Water node, which is like whenever we inflict a non-damaging debuff, we get like they get unblockable. Sorry, we don't get anything. It's just nothing for us. They get unblockable, and yeah, like just play around that, and it's not too bad. Here I dropped the SP2, and I forgot that Armor Break is a non-damaging debuff, and yeah, I was like, oh man, he's unblockable now, huh? But it's fine. It's just a sunspot. So here he drops SP2, which gives him another armor up, so we can just get the Fury passives from the Chitino's Thorns lane. And yes, these are looking pretty good here, man. Things are looking pretty dang good. And yeah, he's just good for most tech lanes, I feel like, because it's either has to do with armor up or like armor break or prowess, and he just counters all those things, or he has those things. So yeah, it's just a pretty nice time. He doesn't have like a heal block, unfortunately, but you know what? You can't have it all, man, except if your name is Warlock, then you do have it all. But War Machine, he's not at that level just yet. He's still pretty dang solid though. And to end off this video, I thought I'd just do a boss fight. This is the 8.2 Domino boss. And yeah, this fight is very, very interesting because War Machine has the energy resistance pre-fight, right? And Domino's crit failure damage is all energy. So yeah, that's a pretty nice thing to know. Like, if you take energy damage from her, it won't be that much because of his fortified pre-fight. And also, his, like, he doesn't really have abilities to fail because all of his things are like 100%. There I took some damage. The non-crits didn't hurt me too much, but the crit that like got through my armor, that was definitely pretty dang brutal, man. This also has a note where, like, whenever she evades, she inflicts a disorient on us, but also we can just purify the first one, which isn't too bad. So yeah, once we get that first cleanse charge out of the way, then like we get disoriented. But besides that, it's not too bad, man. We just need to play around it for sure. Here, I think she does evade us, like, in a little bit, and then we get the disorient on us, but you know what? It's fine, man. Yeah, I forgot that she evades when she's lucky. I think it's, like, a very small chance, and she does it twice, man. She does it twice to me, and then we get the unblockable on us. So yeah, this also has the Be Like Water node, like the last fight had, actually, coincidentally, and yeah, that's just a very annoying node, man, because, War Machine, he has Armor Break, and that is a non-damaging debuff. So yeah, but like besides that, it's not too bad. And the crit failure damage, we don't even take that much of it because War Machine's like abilities are pretty much like 100% to trigger, except for the Rupture on the SP1. But yeah, like we don't even use that in this fight. We just go for the SP2 and the SP3. And he's not like immune to ability accuracy reduction, unfortunately. It'd be cool if he was, for sure, because that'd make him like a very good Domino counter, but he's not. He just has like 100% to trigger his abilities, which still isn't the worst thing in the world, but he can get crit failed. But even if he does get crit failed, you just don't take that much damage from it. So yeah, this fight is going pretty well. It's a pretty slow fight because of like the evade chance and like the disorient as well. You just like don't want to trigger lucky, and if you do, you have to wait it out because if she evades you, you get disoriented and it becomes a not fun time. So yeah, that's why this fight is a little bit slower than usual. If like there was no notes, we'd just be going haywire, man. We're just going straight for the SP3, just doing so much damage as we can, but unfortunately, we have to play it a little bit slow. And War Machine, he can handle like a slow paced fight, obviously, right? Because his armor break refresh is pretty easy to access, and he can just keep it up for the entire fight. So yeah, there's just no worry about a slow tempo fight for War Machine. He can just do it pretty dang well. Like there's some characters that need to be aggressive, right? War Machine, not so much. He can just play it slow. He can also play it very fast too, though. So yeah, he's a bit of like a dual threat there. And yeah, the SP3 does a pretty good amount of damage because we get the 3 Furies from it. And yeah, just it leads to a lot of damage, man, with the armor breaks too. Yeah, it's a very, very nice time. So yeah, now we can just go in. I forgot his stuns. 63,000 heavy attack right there. And yeah, this fight is just pretty much over. We just need to wait out that one timer there, and then once it's gone, we can just go in, do a hit, and yeah, fight is just over. And there we go. That concludes this boss fight. 2 minutes and 30-something seconds. Oh, no, 2 minutes and 49 seconds, which isn't too bad at all. And this concludes the video as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on War Machine. For me personally, I love the guy, man. I love his tankiness. I love his overall versatility and like his utility. And the damage, of course. The damage is pretty dang solid. So yeah, just a really good all-around character. And yeah, that's about it for me.